And a great pleasure to welcome to our show today a woman who has put together a series of books, kind of give children of different ages a lot of activities right now, as we're in an unusual time of the year anyway, but these are applicable to any time of the year. We're joined today by Bobbi Connor. The name of the books are Unplugged Play, and Bobbi joined us by telephone. She's also a fellow broadcaster, has hosted a syndicated public radio series, The Parents' Journal, for many years, and she joined us by telephone today. Bobbi, good to talk with you. How are you?
Nice to talk to you. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, I just read through the notes. You did that show for over 20 years, right?
I did a show called The Parents' Journal. It was syndicated on public radio for 24 years, and it was an interview-style program, where we interviewed child development experts and pediatric people and parents about raising kids.
Well, it's always great to talk to somebody else who kind of knows what it's like to do this.
Yes, thank you.
Well, I should say that it's a series of books. One is for toddlers, one is for preschool age, and the other is for grade school children, right?
That's right, yeah. So 3 different books, Unplugged Play, just as you said, 3 different ages, and each one is filled with a couple hundred different games and activities to get kids off of computers and electronic devices. So it's screen-free kind of unplugged playtime.
I remember when I was a kid, not that long ago, but, late 60s, somewhere around there, my parents would get us those books in the summertime or when we were on vacation. They called them activity books, I guess, then, whatever they were. But I remember then, and then, we had, when we were even on vacation, we had to do a little bit of school time, just to keep our minds active, and we had those then. And I guess kids got away from that. Obviously, they got away, they're on the phones and all that now, but good to see that back. So thank you, and thank you for that.
Well, thank you. It's my pleasure.
Are these kind of based on that a little bit? I guess those books back then were different age groups, but this is on that kind of format, right?
Well, sort of different. These are games and activities. Some of them are simple, and the whole starting point for me was, number one, I really wanted kids and parents to have hundreds of good, fun, cool, creative, active ideas so that they could mix and match, some quiet time games and some rambunctious outdoor games. And so that was sort of the starting point. Secondly, I didn't want people to have to go out and buy a whole bunch of expensive stuff and gear, and these games are all with either everyday props and household items that you have in the house, or basic balls and bean bags and stuff like that you already have at home, and art supplies. There's a lot of creative drawing and collage and musical play and creative writing ideas and story time, making up your own tall tales, that kind of stuff. So it's kind of the gamut of physical stuff and creative stuff.
Yeah, just looking at the toddler, which is 1 to 2, you have I guess a muffin tin, right? And just kind of the kids just sorting and arranging little things in there. Teaches them, I guess, organization, right? Or motor skills.
Well, it teaches them, a little bit of sorting and stuff. Muffin tin, you get like a tin, out of the kitchen cupboard that you make cupcakes in, that kind of thing. And they're just sorting. They're putting, and then you have a bowl with a whole bunch of toddler safe objects, little balls and little toy things, play things. But you'd be surprised. I mean, it sounds to you and I like, oh, that's a simple idea. But it will hold kids' attention. They're sorting and putting in the little cubbies different items, and then they're moving them around, mixing and matching. And then as they get a little older, they, then start to know colors and stuff. And then they're dumping the tin out and starting over again. So a lot of these toddler games, you're using a ball and a plastic laundry basket. And you're playing, rolling the ball or kicking the ball or bouncing the ball and getting it to land in the laundry basket that's turned on its side up against the wall. And so these are things, just to kind of engage them physically, and their thinking and their learning, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I remember some of the simplest things you'd have fun with for days or even weeks, like a big box that something might have been delivered in. We used to play in that.
You are correct. Yeah. And I don't know if you played, but my kids, and me too when I was a kid, but my kids in particular, they're all grown now, but they had weeks of fun. Almost every weekend it was our thing in the family when they were grade school kids. They would build a bedroom fort. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
They'd every week, trying to make it a little better, and they're going to get the big cushion cushions off the couch, and then they get the blankets and the, chairs from the dining room. And there's all kinds of things going on when kids do that kind of brainstorming and figuring and designing. It's just a very satisfying experience for kids to have that kind of playtime. So some of these are just old-fashioned games as well.
Yeah, I know toy companies don't like hearing it, but like you said, little things like that, kids make up their own games with very simple things, actually a lot more fun than maybe buying that expensive whatever it is.
Yeah, and part of the reason I wrote this book, too, is my experience has been when kids have fun with things they've invented on their own, like we're talking about, it's like a light goes off in their head, and they think, hey, I did that, I made that, I wrote that, I invented that, I created that song or that fort or whatever. It's a pretty big deal, really, in a child's development when they see that how they can work and try this and try that, and then what happens next? What can I do after that? Problem solving. All kinds of stuff gets worked into these pretty simple playtime ideas that we're talking about that you might not think about, but there's a heck of a lot of development going on.
Did you kind of draw on your own experience? Obviously, you have children of your own. They're grown now, but a lot of the games, did you do there, or did you ask other people to kind of give you suggestions?
Well, it's a mix. About a third of the games in these Unplugged playbooks are games that I just created out of thin air. Mm-hmm. And then another third are classic kind of games, maybe that you and I played as kids and some of the parents will remember playing. And then another third are sort of real clever ideas that some of the preschool teachers or PE teachers or art teachers came up with that got incorporated into the book. So it's a mix. My childhood and my own kids were very, very much unplugged, and I saw the wonder and the magic of what happens when kids when you turn them loose, they have a few ideas to get started with, and then they sort of make up their own play, or they maybe tweak the rules of some of the games to have variations even.
Do you find, and from talking to teachers, I guess, of children of that age, are parents looking for that? I guess obviously, 1 and 2 year olds don't have a phone, but 3 and 5 year olds, I guess, are on computers now, so you don't want them to have them too early.
That's right. Yeah, I think what's happening, especially in the pandemic, so let's talk about that first. More and more kids, particularly school-age kids, even kindergartners now, many of them are going to be online a part of the day, sitting there for their kindergarten class. It's just a necessity. This is where we are right now because of the pandemic in many school districts. But parents are concerned about many things. But one thing that they're concerned about is the kids sitting, for long periods of time. And also parents are concerned they need a couple minutes of time to themselves. They're working from home. They need a break. And so playtime can really sort of fill the void how can you keep kids busy, happy, and engaged, during these circumstances that we're in.
And you got to have them run around. I remember as a kid, I like to run around.
You definitely
got to run around a little bit.
That is every single day. I know once wintertime comes, it's going to be more of a challenge, but I'm such a huge believer that all of us of all ages, but particularly kids, they really need to have some physically active playtime every single day of their life. Yeah. I mean, it just does so much. Physically, it clears the stress out of your mind, and that's one of the other big reasons that kind of non-electronic or screen-free playtime is such a big deal right now, is they need a break, but they also need some relief. They need relief from schoolwork. They need some relief from the stress and the strain of the pandemic and what's going on. And when they're out there running around and, playing a game outdoors, they're not thinking about, some of the grown-up worries that are going on right now.
Well, we're just about out of time, but I want to give the title one more time. It's called Unplugged Play, toddler, preschool, and grade school, the age groups. We're talking with Bobbi Conner today. And Bobbi, do you have a website you want to direct people to?
I do. It's unpluggedplay.com.
Great, and they can get the books there. We'll also put a link up on our website as well. But, Bobbi, great talking to you. Great idea for a series, and hopefully we can talk to you again. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
I'm Stan Brock. 30 years ago, I formed Remote Area Medical to help people overseas. But then we found generations of families in America isolated by poverty from the health care they need. Together, we can take dental, vision, and medical help to 1 million adults and their kids, right here at home in the United States of America.